Okay. So today I am going to talk about the roadmap for preparing a manuscript and publishing it in a journal. Actually, this nowadays it is becoming a difficult task to publish your findings in particularly in high impact journals. So I would like to cover how we can proceed through that and how we can able to accomplish the task. Okay. So first I would like to put a disclaimer that this presentation is intended to provide an overview of how to prepare manuscripts for publications. The presentation will highlight some possible pathways of accomplishing the goal. The guidelines provided in this presentation might help you to write better. However, there is no guarantee that you will not that you cannot emerge as a good reader from tomorrow. Okay, so this is only a guideline, not a guarantee. So, what are the signposts that you are going to come across this roadmap? I will go one by one. First is reading and highlighting and absorb, imbibe, digest, grasp and comprehend. All this part of this reading habit, and how to classify the points and how to correlate the points with the present work. Again, read and read, that's a basic thing again for writing. And populating the mind, that is one of the important points that we need to have when we want to emerge as a good reader, good writer. And writing how to write the first draft and how to revise and getting the feedback based on the revisions and how to choose a journal and prepare as per the instructions and submit it into a journal. So it looks like it is very easy, like step by step, it is climbing up in a ladder. It looks easy only. However, it is like playing a snake and ladder game. Okay, submitting and preparing a paper, you may get down at any point of time. Okay. First, there is an article available published in Science magazine. You can refer how to read a scientific paper seriously. This is available in the open literature. You can download from using Google and you can read the points. Very important coverage. I would like to cover a few points in this. In general, how they read a paper. If you look at how they read a paper, first people read the abstract. Okay, and what is the summary and what exactly they have done in a paper. And the second thing is, you just skim through the introduction. What is covered, what is the topic of that. Then have a quick look at the hypothesis to be tested and verified. So whenever you are doing a research work, this is very important. It's not just, you cannot write like, when no one has done this work, that's why I'm doing it. It is not the right way. Research work you should propose your hypothesis and it should be verified. Your experiment should verify the hypothesis. So that is the basic of research. And that should be the main part of the work, actually, whenever you're writing a paper. So a reviewer will look at it. What is the hypothesis that you put forth? And whether you have verified it, that is the conclusion part they will verify. So it is not that this work has not been done well, so this is only little coverage. So that is not the justification for the work. Okay. And we have to go through, when you are reading a paper, you have to go through the illustrations, schematics and tables. First, so that gives a clear idea about how they represented the data, how they represent schematically about their findings and other work about it, and how they represent the tables, units, statistical calculations, everything that you have to note down. So these are all very important points. And if they follow a methodology which is different than what you are following, you see why that authors have followed a different methodology. Is it better than what I follow, what we follow in our laboratory? So in why, that and all you have to note down. And in conclusions and summary, that you have to see whether the specific questions are addressed as per in the introduction, justification part. And look into the technical details. So there's and most important thing is whether what are the most relevant points, how it can change your thinking about your research topic, or whether it provides new directions or new ideas about your about the topic that you are going to do. So these are the points that we need to underline that. So this is an approach made by one student, Miss Lina Colucci. She's a doctoral candidate in Harvard, MIT, Health Science Technology program. She said that I will save the informative sentences from each and every article about a specific topic and compile it in a Word document. Then she says I will write comments along the way about the new ideas and questions and what I need to explore further. So that she will write. So that if you prepare a Word document, then there is no need for you to look into each and every individual papers. You can just right away look into the Word document. So that is the idea that she has followed. And in fact, I am also following the similar principle but I have never come across her statement until I read this paper, Science Magazine paper. So this is a very good approach. Okay, when you read a paper, you collect important information, important sentences, highlight important sentences, and copy it in a Word document, and you can develop comments about these each and every points, and then keep separately in a Word document. So that I will explain it in detail. So that is one of the approach. So when you read a paper, there are two sets of reading. One is passive reading, another is active reading. What is passive reading? Passive reading is just take a glance what they have done. And maybe it involves a light reading of abstract and conclusion, some of the points. It's barely a monologue. So you might have heard that advertisement a few years back, in Hero Honda advertisement. Fill it, shut it, and forget it. Nowadays, if you need to fill it, then you should be really good, rich enough, considering the petrol price. Okay, so passive reading is like that. It is just read it, close it, and forget it. Nothing goes into the mind. That's called passive reading. But actually, what we have to follow is active reading. What is active reading? Active reading is intensive reading. You have to take notes. You have to summarize the important findings of a paper. You have to involve in a dialogue. Engage yourself. It's a kind of meditation. Meditation means it's a focus. You need to focus. You need to make inferences. You need to make predictions. You need to draw conclusions from the paper. You need to make presumptions on what could happen. Suppose they have done like this. So if I do like this, that it might happen like this. If this reaction will proceed like this. So you need to make assumptions, and you need to answer the questions. You need to explain to yourself as well as to others what they've done. So basically, you are in a position. You need to analyze the content. You need to analyze the result. You need to correlate the result obtained by others with your results. You need to corroborate how different authors have done and how I am doing, whether my results are in line with others or it is different. If it is different, why it is different. So these are the points that while reading itself we have to habituate. So this is the important thing that we need to develop, the kind of habit that we need to want to be a good writer. So active reading is very, very important. It is not only active reading, it is that every one of us should be a close reader. A close reader is like a detective. Okay, who does very careful and purposeful reading. So focuses on what is the purpose of the work, how they have written, what is the structure of the paper, what are the claims they made in the thing, and whether there is a continuity in the paper, whether there is good flow in the paper. You read it. Suppose if you don't understand, again you reread the paper and uses the text evidence to support your thinking. So that is more important. So you should be not only an active reader, you should be a very close reader. So the reading habit is very, very important if you want to emerge as a very good writer. So the art of collecting information from the literature. How many of you can be able to see about a honeybee? Have you seen honeybee? You might have seen honeybee. So what you can say about the characteristic of a honeybee? Can you tell something? What comes to your mind when you think about honeybee?
Hard work.
Hard work. Okay, fine. That's a good point. So the art of collecting information from the literature is the like of a work of a honeybee. No one teaches honeybee to go to choose the right flower to take the honey. So like that, we need to apply our mind to choose the right paper. There may be now several thousands of papers are being published in every area. Okay, no one can be able to spend time to read all the papers. So you should be very choosy where I can get the right information. So it's like a honeybee. You have to choose the right flower and catch the people. And you have to do it involves a lot of work. Okay, I can give you statistics that to collect a 450 gram of honey, actual honey, pure honey I'm telling you, 1152 bees have to travel 1,80,246 kilometers. And in the process, they have to visit about 4.5 million flowers. That's about 156 kilometers per bee. It's that much hard work. So it is not like taking a paper, just glancing it, noting down 2 points, and I say I can write. That is not possible. You have to do a lot of work. You have to read a lot of papers and collect all the information and keep it in a result. So that is the basic point. Okay. And highlighting and taking notes. So the purpose of highlighting is to sort the points that are important, that are most relevant for your writing. When you are going to write a paper about, say, I'm doing XRD, I'm going to need to interpret the X-ray diffraction patterns about the particular phase content, about the slide size, about the lattice parameters. So when you are reading a paper, you need to note down those points, how they have done, how they calculated the lattice parameters, what are the values for the particular structure. So those points you need to take in notes. So like that, every aspect of it, like ACM, tangential electron microscopy, each and every point that you have to note down. And you can make a note at the margin. When you are reading a paper, you are highlighting and you take a note at the margin and write your opinions, remarks and questions for the statement. When you are reading a point, you assume that it's an answer. Okay. And you raise a question for that. Because the way of study of a question and answer is easy, and you can able to keep that in memory for a longer period of time. You ask, suppose you are reading a statement, assume that as an answer, and you should need to develop a question for that. A researcher should develop the abilities of questioning everything. Okay, so basically now when you read a point, you develop a question for that. I will give an example for that. Okay, and asking the correct and sensible questions is the best way to learn when you are reading. Okay, and you have to correlate the statement that is relevant to your work. Always try to establish a link between, okay, when somebody says that, okay, I also got this result, or that fellow has also got the result. So you try to establish the correlation, the link. That is very important, you think. And in fact, you are going to use these points as the building blocks to write your paper. You cannot straight away take a paper, A4 size paper, and you cannot write a manuscript. It's not possible. You have to collect all these points. These are the building blocks. And using that points only, we could be able to write a paper. So I will show one example. Recently I read a paper a few days back. So I have highlighted certain things. Say this is about, they are doing a process of selective laser melting for titanium 6 aluminum 4 vanadium alloy. And this is the process. So selective laser melting is an additive manufacturing process. Okay, additive manufacturing technique, so I highlighted that. And again, subsequently I highlighted other points also. Say for example, so this is the point I highlighted, just that the process is inhibited by the requirement of post-treatment processes. Mainly 3 main challenges, like martensitic microstructures, porosity and residuosis. So these are the problems in the currently existing process. So you write a question, what is limiting the wide acceptability of this process? So that is the question. So it's a statement that the SLM processing has been inhibited by the requirement of this thing. So you raise a question, what is limiting the wide acceptability of this process? So like that, for every statement, you raise a question along with that. You can take you can use the PDF file and you can develop these set of points. So another point, that what is the challenges? So how I am doing it? What is the origin of the problem? Where exactly the problem starts? So they say that you are manufacturing, additive manufacturing is like a layer by layer building. So if for example I can prepare this thing using additive manufacturing process, I would be able to build layer by layer. So this is the process of additive manufacturing. I have to use a laser beam to melt the powder, metal powders, and then make this component. So the problem is, density is a problem. So to maximize the density, I am increasing the energy level. When I increase the energy level, the rate of cooling also thing, and that gives the problem of microstructure problem and other problems. So in a paper, you need to identify what is the origin of the problem. So you are going to use this to build your introduction based on that. And another point is that control the cooling rate to tailor the microstructure. So what is the strategy and approach that you can make? So like that. So every statement that you have to end, and in its current state, post process remain critical. So what is the available window of opportunity for researchers? So like that, each and every point you raise a question and store these points along with the question and answer in a separate Word document. Okay. So this with respect to introduction, with respect to justification, like that you classify into different Word documents. So that is the building block for writing. So you classify the points. Now we collected like that you can read the entire paper and you can highlight important points and you can raise a question for that. And you collect copy and paste in Word document, and then you note down which point has to go in which section. Which point I'm going to write in the experimental part, which point I'm going to write in the research and discussion part. In the research and discussion part itself, what is the point I'm going to write about XRD, what is the point about what I write about bioactivity. So like that, you classify into different Word documents. So like it's classifying the points, and you store it in different files. Okay, and then after classification, you read each and every set separately. Okay, so every document, suppose if you take one document, it is going to talk only about the points on transmission electron microscopy. It is a structural characterization of a nanomaterial only by transmission electron microscopy about your particular material. So what and all others have done, so you know very clearly. So you read that point, then you start writing that aspect. then in the case it will be very clear. So basically what you have to do is, you have to focus on a particular aspect of it. Say transmission electron microscopy, say bioactivity, say cell growth aspect. So like that, you take only one set of document at a time, and then read all the points, and most importantly, you have to populate the mind. That is very, very important. All the points should be there. If you, because it is very difficult to remember all the points at the same time. It's very difficult, and you cannot recollect all the points. So what I'm saying is, if you are going to write about cell growth aspects, particularly, you read the document of collected all the points on cell growth aspects only. That you read. Then after, you have to read and allow to populate the mind. So it should read there in the mind. You should allow the points to incubate in the mind. So I don't know how to explain that further. But basically, you read the point and then think about it. What and all other people have done. So that will give a clear idea about what is there, what and all I need to write about this. So that is the basic aspect of it. So now everything is ready. That now you have collected the point, you read it, and you are ready to write. And everything you want to say is in your head, and then you have to just transfer from your mind to the computer. That's all. It's very easy. But actually, it is not working for many of us. They are finding it difficult. Yes, I know what to write, but still it is not coming. Still it is not coming because I could not able to type coherently, and I could not able to write not even a single paragraph. So we are facing the difficulty. So what you can do? Some of us can go to the astrologer, but the astrologer cannot use the credit, even the crystal ball to predict when you can write it in a better way. So it's a very difficult job. So nobody can say when you can write it in a better way. So what is the problem? The problem is the mental barrier. We need to break the mental barrier. How we are going to do that? The only way is practice. Practice, practice, practice. Actually, practice makes a man perfect. So only with practice, you will start feeling comfortable with the writing, and you can come out with the better ways to express your ideas and concepts. It is not that, okay, I will be busy with all the time, I will be busy with the laboratory experiments, and finally, one day my professor said, you write a paper, and you read some papers and then start writing. That is not the way it works. This has to be an everyday work, everyday practice. Every day you have to write something. This is the way that you can evolve. Okay. There will be initial resistance. That is common. Whenever you want to, whatever the task you want to do, there will be an initial resistance. That is not unusual. Okay. But you keep writing. You'll soon realize that words are coming. Words are coming to you. They will say, use me. The words will say, use me. It will automatically come to you. So that is the magic. Okay. Basic thing is, you have to read. Make yourself resourceful. There should be something in the pot, then only you can take it. Okay, so make yourself resourceful first. Read. For that you have to read. So if you want to be a good writer, you need to be a good reader. You need to read. Then and make yourself resourceful. You have to assimilate. You have to enrich your knowledge. And the more you read, the more you comfortable become in writing. It's just a piece of cake after some time. Because you know the points. You have collected it and you have assimilated it. You have populated your mind. Everything is there in your mind. And just you can write. Things will come automatically too. That is the idea. And once what you have to do is, when you are reading a paper, you have to prepare a one-page summary. It's not only reading a paper. What I have learned from the paper, or what the author has done in this paper. You write a one-page summary. Just one A4 size paper. Okay. And post it in your blog page. You write blogs from the early days of a researcher. You start to have your own blogs. And you post it on your blog page, and you encourage your friends to read. Okay, ask their opinion. Okay, so that's the way you can learn many things. Okay, if you have a group of people and everyone is writing a blog about a particular article, and in a given day, even if you spend half an hour, you can read at least 2 or 3 papers. What they have done. It is very difficult for us to read all the papers. Okay, so that is a good idea. And not only that, you have to share with your colleagues and peers and get their opinions and feedback. Because they can correct it. If you have a senior member, if you have a faculty member, if you have a faculty advisor or your well-wisher, they can read, okay, your English is not good. It needs improvement. You have to write it in activas. You have to write it in this way. You have to use this. So it may be a language improvement, it may be a clarity, it may be a continuity. So slowly you know where and all you are making a mistake. So it should be done like an everyday process. It's not a one-day process. Paper writing is not a one-day process. It's a regular activity that you have to practice from day one of a research career. So that's what I'm telling. Now, the problem that we are facing, the mental barrier, is you have collected the points. But what is the problem is you are not trained the mind to assimilate the points, to arrange them in a particular order. So that is the problem. So everything is there in the mind, but you are not assimilated and arranged it in a particular order. So that is more important. So that's what I'm calling as you need to have an incubation time. You need to think about it. Okay, I have this point, I have this point. So which one I need to write first, which one I need to write second. So that you plan it in the mind, in the thinking itself. Automatically, you will have an idea about how to arrange the points. So like that, you reshuffle your points, whatever the collected points. You assimilate and arrange it in a particular order. Read it, reread it. Then you are ready for the writing process. Okay. So you have to write the first draft. When you are writing the first draft, there will be a lot of random parts. Okay. Let it be. Let it flow. Okay. You keep writing. This is only a first draft. So you need not be perfect. Don't expect perfection. Don't expect corrections. Then you cannot be able to move further. You will be stuck in the first paragraph itself. So you keep writing. Keep writing. And there is no limit for the first draft. Even you can write 100 pages of a manuscript. Okay. You keep writing. That is more important. Say one famous writer, Shannon Hull, he said that I'm writing the first draft and reminding myself that I'm shoveling sand into a box so that later I can recast. It is like collection of points. You keep writing and then finally you can shape it. Beautiful. Okay. Basically you need all the points to write it. And another writer, that Robert Conway, he said, the beautiful part of writing is that you do not have to write the first step. It is not like a brain surgery. So you can do it. You can write it first draft and later you can change the phrase, you can change the phrase, you can change the word, whatever modifications you can give. You can make as many revisions as possible. So first you allow the mind to flow. You keep writing. Keep writing. Whatever comes to your mind, you keep writing. Okay. And it is better to use a quiet environment so that you can be able to focus without any distraction. So that is very, very important. And you can choose some background music to calm down your mind. So because only a calm mind could be able to think better. So let it allow some light music to only play without any, and then you focus. That will automatically guide you to write better. So now you are ready. You have gone through all the phases. You feel that you can do this. Okay. And what happens after some time? You feel, oh, I want to check my Facebook status. How many likes I got, how many comments I got. And this is a thing that we all get diverted. So avoid distractions in writing. If you start doing that, your mind will be populated with something else. What the comments my friends made. Whether this fellow has liked me or not. So what comment I can put it for the other fellow. So you completely you get distracted. So that you don't do it when you're writing.
So question.
Yes.
So you are very active in Facebook.
Yes.
How you avoid the distraction?
That is the $1 million question. See, what I do is, when I start reading, the first hour I generally don't waste. I go to the lab at 9 o'clock. 9 to 10:30, I completely read. Okay. After 10:30, I completely spend in Facebook. If you read my Facebook postings, you will be able to see the timeline of what time it is posted. There will be plenty of gap between these things. So when people look at as if that I am completely in Facebook, but in between every 1 hour, 1.5 hour slot, I might be writing something else. So thing is that I already said that in Facebook also. I am using Facebook as a mood changer. So after reading 1 hour, I need a rest. Okay, I need something to have some other flavor. So I am using it there. So again, I will come back and read and write. So that's the idea. But what I'm saying is, when you are serious about writing, okay, don't see, okay, Facebook messages come, okay, WhatsApp messages come. That is not going to work. That is, you cannot be able to concentrate, you cannot be able to write. Okay.
So, are you getting any constructive ideas from the Facebook or any social network?
No, I am using it as only form of relaxation.
Okay.
For me, this is my opinion. So people may be using it. Say, I have started a page on PhD and postdoc openings, and we are sharing a lot of important things. So that may be useful to somebody else in identifying what are the questions coming up. So there are certain pages which are very useful, And we have a page on corrosion science. Okay. So we used to share articles on recent articles on corrosion science. So there are many useful pages on Facebook. Of course, there are other aspects of also. So, but the Facebook has given a choice that you can be choosing what type of post that you can see. So that depends on the user how they want to use it. Okay. So now let us come to the categories. There are various categories of contribution. The most important thing is the research paper. Of course, there are letters, short communications, and rapid communication. So when you come out with a new idea, when you have a new finding, and immediately you have to report it, then you can write it in the form of a letter or short communication or rapid communication. This rapid communication is not a short form of a full paper. That's what many people do. Okay, today I have done only XRD. Okay, only using XRD result and this SEM result, I will publish a short communication. That is not a short communication. The short communication and rapid communication is meant for you have come out with an important finding. Okay, and you may take more time to complete the entire process, but your idea is valuable. So it should not be. You should report it first. So for that, it is created. So you need to report some important findings. So that is the purpose. Review paper is very important. Review paper is get you a lot of citations. The review paper is very important. But review paper is not a simple compilation of what is being published by others. Many people are writing like that. He has done this, he has done that, they have done like this. This is the structure, this is the composition. This is not a review paper. You need to give your opinions and perspectives about each and every aspect. Suppose one group of people have done this. So whether this will work or not, whether this has applicability, whether this has scalability. So all those points that you need to discuss. That is why in earlier days, they say review paper should be written only by experts, by big professors. But nowadays the trend has completely changed. The first thing that they say, you join as a research scholar, okay, 3 months, now first you time to write a review paper. It is good in one aspect because that forces you to read all the papers. Because when you need to write a review paper, you need to read at least 200, 300 papers. So it's a good thing as a beginner, if you have the opportunity to read all the papers, you will get more ideas, you will get more refined with the subject. So that way it is important. But when you need to write a review paper, you should be in a position that you should be able to discuss perspective and what can be, how you can, a field can evolve in the future. You should be in a position to give the future directions also, where the future researcher should work. So those points and all should be written in a review paper. That is very, very important. It's not a simple compilation of a published literature. And perspectives and opinions are also in a similar way like that thing. There are many papers on clinical trials, technical notes. Say for example, if you are doing a particular experiment, and you have come out with a small development. It will be good, but you cannot write it as a big paper. It's only a methodology improvement. So for example, we did one work. People are measuring, we have been doing work on corrosion of magnesium. Okay, and we used to put Hank's solution as the electrolyte medium. And during corrosion of magnesium, the pH will rise. We use metal red as an indicator in the solution. So the color will change from red to pink. Okay, so people used to only measure the pH of the solution. That is what we practice. And if you are developing a new alloy with a different composition, the difference in pH will not be very much variation. So in that case, that the current methodology of measuring the pH as a function of time will not work. So what we did, since it's a color solution, we can measure it is spectrophotometry. So that's what we are doing. In cell growth studies, you are adding a coloring agent, you are adding MDT and developing a violet color, you are measuring the absorbance. So why don't we, here also it's a color solution only, so why don't we measure the pH as a function of, the absorbance as a function of time. So we measured the absorbance as a function of time and we correlated the change in pH versus absorbance. And we evolved that this is the absorbance and this will be the change in pH and this is the state of corrosion. So since absorbance measurement are more accurate than pH measurement, so that may be a, so that is only that we can publish it as a technical note. It is not a very big paper. We have made only a small development or a small idea. So that type of work we can make it as a, publish it as a technical paper. There are case studies you can take in medical things. Data in brief, nowadays this big data analysis is coming up in a very big way. So the problem in these things, many of us collecting data and it is not possible for us to publish all the data. Only a portion of it we are publishing it. And remaining, it is lying in your computer. That's all. Okay, what they say is, you need to publish the data alone. There are journals. In material science, there is a journal called Data in Brief. I don't know about other medical fields or biology fields. So you need to, they have a particular format and need to give the results as per the format. So you can publish only the data. Say for example, microstructural data or XRD data. For a particular type of custom, a particular type of compound, nanomaterials. Say for example, one type of nanomaterial you are preparing and you have a lot of EM structures. You might have published only 1 or 2 EM in a journal. But you may have at least 20 or 30. So all those things that can be published in the data will be that later that can be used in a data analysis, a big data analysis. What is the structure? What is the thing of all these type of compounds? When they have a very big compilation of a database, it will be useful for some other researchers. Why it should go unpublished? Okay, and there are video journals available. People are publishing it in video. So you take a video of your entire experiment and publishing it. Okay. And you can write book reviews. You can, for many books you can write. So these are the various categories. So we will mainly go through the research paper today. And these are the structures that most of you are aware of. That you have a title, the author's name and affiliation, abstracts, keywords, introduction, materials and methods, results and discussion, conclusions, supplementary, conflict of interest. So these are the various structures. Let's see what they are. When you talk about title, people say, no, what is in the title? Yeah, just give, like that. It's not like that. The title should be very clear, it should be concise, and it should be self-explanatory. A reader should be able to get the information what you have done by reading the title itself. So that is the way that you have to. It should basically attract the reader to see what is in your paper. So that is very, very important. If the title is not attractive, there is a possibility that 50% you may not read the paper. Okay, and it should reflect what is the work about. What is the work? And it is better to be specific about the application area. Okay, and if you are improving a particular property, say for example, I have improved the superconductivity, some superconductivity, improved the solar absorptivity, something like that. So, say for example, I improved the corrosion resistant property. So, what do you have improved? What is the property modification that you have made in the paper? So that you can highlight. It is better to avoid abbreviations or trademarks in the title. And basically, the reader should get a clear idea about what is the work that has been done. And this one fun that they say the professor says it is better to use some acronym, some new acronym, so that others might think that we have done something novel. So this is a state that is going on. Okay, there is no plain and straightforward title. They put something like that, some novel words that they think that they have done something great. It is not. It's maybe a small, regular word. And use nice and catchy words. Say for example, in this paper published in Science Advance, they used shaken and stirred. Have you ever heard shaken and stirred word? Shaken and stirred. Shaken and stirred. It's used in James Bond movie. He calls the specification for his champagne is shaken but not stirred. So that is the thing that is used. So it is simply to attract the reader. Basically what they have done is a random organization of some granular suspensions and to reduce the viscosity. So that's straightforward. They did something and they are doing a shaking and stirring process. So the nanoparticles, the granular suspension is getting arranged and there is a decrease in viscosity. It's a simple scientific concept and they introduce the word shaken and stirred just to attract the reader. So like that we can use, okay, it is derived from a movie dialogue only. Okay, and author's name, many of us, this is conventional following that the sequence of authors depends on the relative contribution and with the supervisor as again. And generally we need not include this title unless otherwise it is specified by the publisher. Okay, and you need to include the email address and so routine things, so I need not spend much time on these things. Okay. So this is a joke that the professor says, I just want you to put me on the author's list. I don't want to care about what is written in the paper. This is what the status of affair in many places. And another professor says, well, now it's my wife's turn to be the first author on your paper. So these are some of the authorship issues that's going on in many laboratories. And the professor is asking why it is taking so long to complete the paper. The researcher is answering that I was busy typing the names of all the co-authors. Okay. So the sequencing of author's name and associated crediting is highly important in multi-author papers. But now journals have decided to move away from this authorship issues and they try to focus on contributorship. So no longer authorship is important. The contributorship is important. What is your contribution in the paper? That has to be specific. That is what journals are moving towards now. So it's no longer the question of I am the first author, I am the first author, it's not like that. So in PNAS they published a paper, you can refer this paper. Transparency in authors' contributions and responsibilities to promote integrity in scientific publication. It's a very detailed paper. Okay. And they have given certain recommendations to things. So each author is expected to have made a substantial contribution either to the conception or the design of the work or the experimental work. So either you should have worked involved in the acquisition of the data or analysis of the data or interpretation of the data or creation of a new software, or you should have drafted the paper or you should have revised it substantially, the paper. So there should be some significant contribution to the for each every author of the paper. Okay. And each author should have approved the submitted version. Because many places they say one person is preparing and the professor is approving and they are submitting. Other authors have added. They don't even know their paper has been submitted. Okay, this is what's going on. So they say that is not allowed. Every author should know what is the content of the paper, what is written, and he should approve what is the content of the paper. Because he is responsible. When you are an author, you are responsible for the content of the paper. If there is a problem, it will affect your career also. Okay. If there is an issue of plagiarism, okay, somebody has done it, but you do not have any knowledge about it. But since you are an author, you may be likely to be banned from publishing in the journal. Okay, so it is very important that you should go through the content and you approve. Okay. So that is very important, that it's your responsibility. So nowadays, many people are asking, that they are giving guest authorship. Okay, he's the head of the organization. Okay, his name will automatically come. Okay, so now the journal says that each and every author should be transparent. What is his contribution? It has to be clearly identified. There are many people are giving. Okay, he's my friend. I'm giving authorship. So that is all you cannot do it. You have to clearly mention it. What is his role in the paper? So that has to be identified very clearly. Okay. And now they are telling that this RC ID is coming up very clearly. So the purpose is to make a clear-cut identification of every researcher. It is like a unique digital identifier, like your other card. Okay, it's a scientific other card for scientists, you can say. So you need to register in RC and you need to have an RC number. In my first slide, I might have put that RC number. So that is very important. And nowadays, the journals are insisting that you have to give RC number during the submission procedure itself. Because there are many names are clashing, okay, particularly the Chinese names. So there may be many vans. Okay. So when you are citing it as van, so whose citation is there? So they are getting a confusion. So there need to be some identification for each and every researcher. So that has to be classified for the citation index and other things. So that is what they are introducing, and this unique identification is necessary now when you are submitting a paper. And abstract is most commonly read section in a paper. It should be self-contained. It should be brief. Don't exceed more than 200 words. Okay. And you should very clearly say why this study and what has been done in this study. Why you are making this study and what you have done in this study. Silent features. That has to be. And you can briefly state some of the experimental methods if it is new. Rotating is need not mentioned. Okay. So if it is new, then you can mention it. And highlight the major findings. What is the major finding in the work? And what is the conclusion drawn from the work? No need to include abbreviations, illustrations, and in general objectives and highlights should be written in the present tense and methodology should be written in the past tense. So this is one abstract that is published in a recent article. They said that the present investigations reveal a promising solidification and cooling path for the formation of these things. So what is it? What is the work and what they have done? So that is the thing very clearly you have to mention. Keywords, you have to include some of the keywords because keywords are very important for indexing the paper. So that is, you have to draw the keywords appropriately from the title, from the abstract, from the important points that you have to do it. Okay. Introduction. Introduction, when you are writing the introduction, you can introduce the field along with the importance. What is the importance of the work? What is the importance of the field? Say you are talking about nanometry. You can write one statement. Not an entire paragraph or one page. You can write only a few lines about what is the importance of it. What is the field and what is its importance. Okay. And second point is you have to highlight the current state of affairs. What is the current trend? What is the current state of affairs? Address the major problems that are yet to be solved. And how critical are the problems in affecting or in moving the field further? That is more important. or in a particular process development. And justify your work very clearly. We have to write the rationale behind the choice of the methodology or the approach that we are making, and how the outcome of our work will help solving the problem or improve the current process or extend an area of application in a particular field. So that is what is very clear. We have to rationalize it. Why I am doing this work? Why I am choosing this methodology? What is my approach towards it? How I intend to solve this problem? And what could be the outcome of this work? And how it can able to extend the research further? So that should be the main point in the introduction. No need to give a detailed literature review. The literature review you should read. You should be able to understand. Then only you can be able to highlight the current trend. What is the current trend? What is the lacuna? What is the problem with it? Okay. And it is better to avoid words like, it's a novel, it is for the first time, unless otherwise it is for the first time. Because everybody is using it nowadays. No, novel, it is for the first time, it is paradigm changing. And known facts you can write it in present tense, and earlier work you can write it in the past tense. So this is one what we have written in the introduction section. So they have written a critical issue for the acceptance and certification of additive manufactured parts is the degree of isotropy. So the problem is there clearly stated. And then the microchip is related to the solidification conditions. So that calls for a requirement of post-treatment. So what is the current problem that you need to state it very clearly in the introduction section. Justification of the work is very, very important, because the reviewer first to see the justification part. Why this work is so important? We need to cover it, a part of it in the covering letter also. First, you have to identify the problem or lacuna. You cannot start a work just because okay, this is an important area, nanomaterials, so I am doing it now. That is not a justification. Okay, and this approach or this methodology is not followed by nobody, so that's why I am doing it. That is not a justification. There should be a problem in the existing process. First, you should identify the problem, you should mention the problem, this is the problem, or this is the gap that need to be solved. Okay, and what is the strategy that other researchers have adopted? Why other researchers are adopted? What is the strategy that other researchers? What are the benefits and limitations? So say for example, let us assume that preparation, synthesis of nanomaterials. Okay, there are many methods available. One person might have done it in solder, person might have done it in hydrothermal. And you are planning to use green synthesis, like using a plant extract. Okay. So you can say that they have done it in solder, they have done it in hydrothermal. Means what is the limitation of the solder process? Okay, there will be carbon contamination in the process, in the finished product. In hydrothermal, you have difficulty in controlling the structure. You cannot be able to get a uniform distribution of the nanoparticle. There may be a wide distribution because of the heat energy supply from other, then the particle might grow bigger. So that is a limitation. So you state, if you prepare a nanomaterial by a solder method, you may have end up with a carbon contamination. If you prepare a hydrothermal method, so and so has done that, you could end up in a difficulty in controlling the microstructure. So how you are going to, so what is your approach? I am going to use a green synthesis, like plant, I am going to plant extract. So in what way the plant extract is going to help to control the microstructure and to avoid carbon contamination, that you need to write. Okay, so in that way, so green extract means there are many plant extract people are using. So what is the green extract that you are going to use? In what way that is superior from the other thing? So these are the things that you need to write and clearly justify why I am choosing this work, why I am doing this, what is my approach, what is my methodology, what is the plan, and what will be the outcome, and how it will be able to move the field or solve the problem. That should be addressed very clearly in the justification part. If that is solved, your paper is almost 50% true. Then 50% about what is the result and how we identify. So this part is not clear, then mostly it will be out. So because you say that many people have done, okay, I am also done. So you are not even clear about your work. You are not even clear about what is the need for this work. Why it is necessary, that you should clearly mention it. Okay, and limit the introduction and justification to only 2 A4 size pages, not more than that. You cannot write more than that. You start with the introduction and finish with the justification, you should not exceed more than 2 pages. That's all. Okay, so this is the sum of the thing. So I said this is the process. I have written what is the limitation of the currently used process. So that's the first point that we need to write. And then what are the main challenges? How the currently used processes deleteriously influences the properties of components. Okay, and what is the common approach made by others? And what are the limitations and advantages? and what is your approach and how you are going to solve this problem. So these should be the focus of the introduction and justification. Okay. Materials and methods, you need to give the details about the materials and methods. Methods of synthesis, the process variables and conditions should be clearly outlined. And the justification for the choice of material, why you were chosen for the particular material, why you were chosen for the particular methodology, and what are the method of characterizations that you used. And we need to use method of data analysis and statistical analysis. It is better to use flow sheets and schematics as much as possible. Okay, your picture represents 1,000 words, so it is better to explain the even experimental part in a pictorial way. So I will give some of the examples. Okay, and narrate this section in past tense. Whenever you write an experimental part, you write it in the past tense. So for example, this is a schematic representation involved in a multi-step synthesis process of titanium dioxide, nanocarbon and molybdenum sulfate. So they taken a manganese dioxide and they coated with titanium dioxide and they coated with the polydopamine and they converted it to carbon moiety and then they coated with molybdenum sulfate. So everything is represented in one image that you can able to the reader can able to understand it quickly. So that schematic representation is very, very important when you are writing the experimental part. This is another example that they prepared a copper nanowire using a polycarbonate template. So how they are done? Very clearly, pictorially they mentioned they use the sputtered silver layer and then they use electroless copper deposition. They remove the electrode layer and finally they end up with a copper nanowire. So it's basically the schematic representations are very, very important. So say another example is they mixed hydroxide nanowires and carbon black and they blend it, filter it, dry it. Okay, and then again PDMS coating, curing it, and they prepare a flexible conducting paper. So instead of writing it in a very detailed way, okay, that this has to be mixed, that you can briefly mention. And one schematic is good enough to represent what you have done. So people will see that the schematic and it is better to represent it in as much better as possible. So the reviewers will see that that itself will attract the reviewer. Okay, this is good. Okay, you are clear about what you are doing. It conveys the message very clearly, rather than writing it in a very descriptive part. And results and discussion, okay, it can be either presented together or separately. That depends upon the journal style or the author's choice also. Okay, and you can provide illustrations, schematics, and tables in here also. You have to analyze the data and evaluate the extent of change in properties and interpret the results. And you need to validate the results and predict the possibilities and propose new mechanisms. That is the main purpose of work. And you can highlight the major findings in the results and discussion. Provide well-supported opinions with no ambiguity. As much as possible to avoid this may be due to that, this may be due to that. One or two points it may be okay. But everywhere the results and discussion, okay, I think it may be like that. I think you need to have some concrete evidence and need to support with your data. Okay, and with other published literatures. Avoid ambiguity. And you can say that no, it can be like this or it can be like that also. So then the reader cannot come to any conclusion. It is your responsibility to clarify the reader what you are trying to tell. Okay, there is no ambiguity. It should be supported well. And compare and contrast the inferences made with those made by other researchers. Suppose you are doing a work, you are preparing a nanomaterial. Okay, and it has certain properties. Okay, maybe some other people might have done the same material and they might have also evaluated the same property. So whether your result is in line with the result. If not, why it is deviating? Okay, your result may be totally different. You might have used a different methodology, you might have used a different process. So it might be different. They might have got a higher property or you might have got a very low property there. So it doesn't matter. But you need to explain it why this is lower compared to the others. You need to compare and contrast with the other people's findings. So that is important in the research discussion. And provide details on the limitations of study. No need to worry about it. Suppose you have taken a process, you thought that it will work, you can improve, but it is not making that much significant impact. There is nothing wrong in accepting it. So this methodology has this limitation. This can only improve this property only to this much extent. Okay. Say for example, nanomaterials tend to agglomerate, but many people did not declare that in the paper. They say that it is completely, it is in well dispersion, and I could not able to see any agglomeration. But there will definitely be an agglomeration. Even if you leave it for a few hours, automatically the particles will get agglomerated. So there is nothing wrong in accepting the limitations of the study. So you can very well do that. Okay. So some of the do's and don'ts in preparing the illustrations and the photos and tables. Okay. Do not duplicate the data. Either you present it in the form of a table or present it in the form of an illustration or bar diagram. So do not duplicate it. That is not allowed. And the legends of the figures and tables should be self-explanatory. The reader should be able to see the figures and the legends and the tables, should be able to get a clear understanding of what we have done without even reading the entire content of the paper. So that should be very clear, self-explanatory. And it is important to use appropriate symbols and colors to represent the data. It should be very attractive. Whether you are using a bar diagram, whether you are using a schematic, it should be attractive, it should attract the readers. Okay. Avoid crowding of the data point. Don't put too many data in a single image, so that is become clumsy. Okay. Scaling is very, very important. Suppose you are representing the y-axis, you are measuring a pH. Okay. The pH range is only from 0 to 14. Okay. If you type the data in Excel and then format it, it will select automatically 5, 10, 15. Okay. There is no 15 pH. So that it should be important. So that and all we should not miss it in drafting the results. And in particularly the photographs, you need to use a scale bar or you need to use a coin. So that what is the magnification? People can be able to understand how much is magnified. Okay, you can use a zoom lens also and take a photograph. But people should understand what is the magnification. So either you should use a coin or you should use a scale mark to represent the photograph. When you are taking scanning electron microscopy and transmission electron microscopy, inclusion of the scale bar is very, very important. What is the magnification mark? That is very, very important. Okay. Be specific in expressing the conditions. Say for example, don't write room temperature. Room temperature is different from India and Canada. Okay. So there is no point in writing room temperature. You have to write it at 27 degrees centigrade, at 22 degrees centigrade. Mention it very clearly, specifically. Okay. Decimal usage. Say for example, I am taking sodium chloride, 200.02 gram. You are taking 200 grams. What is the significance of 0.02 gram? So that significance in using giving the decimals, that is very, very important. Whether you need to give single decimal or two decimal, sometimes it may be 4 decimals. Important. That depends upon the area. That depends upon the field, depends upon the area. So that you should be very choosy and correct. Okay. And include the number of measurements. Statistical parameters. Include the error bars. Standard deviation is a must for most of the students. Okay, you cannot, because when you do a single experiment, you cannot come out with a conclusion. You need to do at least duplicate experiments and need to give the deviations and so this is